2018, New York City. A large crowd gathers to celebrate crypto's anniversary. These are not ordinary people. Founders, billionaires, powerful politicians, all here. This was the height of the crypto craze. The promise of wealth without borders, money without central governments. Among the crowd is Darren Marble. Earlier that morning, he checked his portfolio. His holdings had never looked better, over $100,000. He took a screenshot and sent it to his wife. She replied with a heart, a smiley face. Life was good. By sunset, everything would change. Walking through the streets of New York, Darren's phone suddenly froze. No texts, no emails, no signal, just silence. Something wasn't right. By 10 p.m., back in his hotel, Darren logged onto his laptop. A notification blinked across the screen. Both hands on his head, shaking in disbelief. Boston? He wasn't in Boston? Who was?
Huh?
He rushed into his crypto wallet. The numbers didn't add up. His balance is now zero. The $100,000 fortune he had watched grow, gone. Transferred into anonymous wallets he could never touch. Someone had fucked him. He stared at the blockchain trail, helpless. His identity erased from his own assets. The call to his wife was the hardest.
Sweetie, it's gone. He just took it all.
What are you talking about, babe?
The money. The crypto money I told you about last night.
Who took the money, babe?
I don't know. Maybe a ghost? Maybe someone smarter than me. I genuinely don't know.
Babe, you need to come home right now. We need to talk.
Darren wasn't alone. Across the country, investigators were already chasing another theft. A heist with the same signature, the same method, the same invisible hand. At first, it felt like the work of a ghost, but soon it became clear. This ghost had a face and a name investigators were determined to uncover. This is the hunt for the teen who turned phone numbers into fortune. Right here, exclusively on Legenomy. It started with a pattern, victims losing access to their phones, then their crypto. Reports were coming in from across the country, each story nearly identical. Agents from the React team began connecting the dots. SIM swaps, drained wallets, same time windows, same digital fingerprints. They didn't have a name. They didn't even have a suspect. For now, we call him Marco, the ghost behind the swaps. Marco stayed invisible, no traces, but his actions were loud. He and a small crew targeted high-value crypto investors, founders, influencers, anyone bragging about money online. The React team traced his steps backward. They found a pattern. Around 2017, Marco created fake FBI email domains. They looked real, official, enough to fool anyone. He used them to trick people into giving him access, passwords, files, private data, anything he could use. But that was just the start. Agents discovered that Marco loved OG usernames. These are short handles, cool ones, like at Legenomy, at Rice, at Zero, at Cat. On social media, they carried status, digital fame. People paid thousands just to own one. The demand was insane. If Marco could get his hands on them, he could flip them for profit easily. Marco started hijacking accounts. He'd reset the password, lock the owner out, then sell the name.
Yes!
The buyers didn't care how he got it, they just wanted the clout. And Marco provided that. He spent his nights on OG users. It was a playground for hackers, traders, buyers, a marketplace for shady deals. Not even hidden on the dark web. It's on the public. There, Marco learned fast. What worked, what didn't, who to trust, who to use. His network grew. He had the skills, he had the market, and now, the contacts. And then came the move that changed everything. SIM swapping.
That's right. If you have a mobile phone, you are a potential target in the SIM swap scam.
Marco didn't invent SIM swapping. He perfected it.
Hello? Hi, I'm calling about my phone. Lost it this morning. Can you move the number to a new SIM?
A pause. Then, verification questions.
What's your wife-boyfriend's name?
Biggie. But we called him BBC.
That's correct. What's her last four?
4321.
You are all set. Anything I can help you with today?
Nope, all good.
This is SIM swapping, and Marco is very good at it. Now, Marco gets all the victims' calls and texts, including two-factor codes. He can reset any password, emails, banks, crypto wallets, everything. According to the FBI, $72 million lost to SIM swap fraud in 2022. That number only counts the victims who bothered to speak up. Most don't. They assume nothing can be done, but why is it spreading? You don't need to write code, no servers to break into, just a phone number, a practiced lie, and a carrier employee who will believe you. The payoff is huge. One good hit can be 6 figures, 7 sometimes, and it's fast, from SIM takeover to empty account, often in less than 30 minutes. This is Robert Ross, a tech entrepreneur from California. This morning, his portfolio was glowing. Millions secured inside a digital wallet he'd protected for years. He'd worked for it, every coin, every cent. But security in the digital world is an illusion. Later that night, Robert's phone went silent. No calls, no texts, just a blank signal. He thought it was a network issue. It wasn't. Somewhere miles away, Marco had just taken his identity. He intercepted Robert's number and slipped into his accounts. In minutes, the wallet was empty, gone, transferred through layers of anonymous crypto addresses. Robert didn't even know he'd been robbed until it was too late, and he wasn't the only one. That week, Marco hit again and again, 40 victims, all in crypto, all drained. By the time it was over, $17.8 million was gone, vanished into the blockchain. The React team had seen enough. They wanted to act fast. The hunt for Marco is now priority number 1. Marco made it easier for them than he realized. While SIM swapping was built for anonymity, Marco made one mistake. He used his personal Gmail, the same device linked to several account hacks. That was all investigators needed. They sent a warrant to Google. The response came back with IP logs, timestamps, device records, every move, every login. Then came the moment that changed everything.
You've got a picture of your suspect, and he's holding identification, and this is within the Google account that you're looking at that's tied to the phone?
That's correct.
A single photo, Marco, staring straight into the camera, holding his Massachusetts ID. The ghost finally had a face. Marco had a name, Joel Ortiz. He had uploaded the photo himself for identity verification on a crypto exchange, and that was enough. By then, Marco, or rather Joel, was already on React's radar. His name appeared in multiple cases, again and again, each time tied to another high-profile case, each one bigger than the last. But who the hell was Joel Ortiz?
Oh God, who is this boy?
Joel Ortiz grew up in Boston, raised by a single mother who immigrated from Puerto Rico. She was disabled and relied on full government support. His father wasn't around. They lived in public housing, barely making ends meet. It was a tough start, but Joel stood out early. In 2016, he graduated as valedictorian of another course to college, a small Boston public prep school. He was invited at a lunch with Mayor Marty Walsh and other city officials. At school, he was known for his love of tech. He led the robotics team. He wrote the code for their projects and taught classmates how to program. He spoke Spanish fluently and had a working knowledge of Chinese. Teachers saw a future engineer rising, a software developer in the making. Maybe both. Everything about him hints success. But outside of class, Joel was already building a second life, one that didn't involve grades, no mentors. He was active on a site called Next Gen Update. It looked like a typical gaming forum, but buried in its threads were discussions on exploits, cracks, and digital manipulation. Joel jumped in right away. Over 4,000 posts. He became the moderator, then the admin. The forum gave him the recognition he never got in real life. Online, he had status. People looked up to him. That's where the skills started to form. He began with simple mods, changing how games like Call of Duty worked. Then, he took it further. He created cheat lobbies and charged players for access. They'd send him gift cards or money via PayPal just to join. It was low-level fraud, but it was working. He was making money, fast. The more he learned, the further he went. Forums like Next Gen Update exposed him to a mindset. If you're smart enough to break a system, you deserve what's inside. Now that the React team had a name, the hunt turned personal. The ghost had a history, a life they could trace. Joel had left fingerprints everywhere. He couldn't hide his success. He bragged online. He wanted to be seen. First-class flights, luxury Airbnbs, parties that looked like music videos, all posted publicly. Head-to-toe Gucci, $20,000 in one outfit, a helicopter ride to a party, $2,000 worth of champagne just for the shot. His Instagram became a highlight reel of stolen wealth. To him, it wasn't showing off. It was proof. Proof that he'd made it. The React team was watching. They had enough to strike, but timing mattered. They needed him to move first. Then it happened. The break. July 2018. A quiet night at a rented house turned violent. Two men broke in, guns drawn. They hit Joel. They hit his friends. They took everything they could carry. A Rolex, $8,000 in cash, and a gold Bitcoin chain. Hours later, Joel went live, face swollen, voice shaking.
Someone or two black guys came to the house with guns and pointed at me and my friends.
He streamed the pain. He told the story. This stream gave React exactly what they needed. It pinned his location. They knew what came next. Joel would try to run. They just had to catch him first. A few days later, they found it. Joel's flight booking. One ticket. Destination to Europe. This was it. Their chance to catch the culprit. React packed up and headed out, speeding to the airport. By the time the sun rose over the city, they were already there, at LA International Airport. Agents took positions near the terminal. Some waited by the exit. Others blended in at security, each one watching, waiting. Then, he appeared. It's him, Joel, Marco, the ghost, a ticket in his hand, a European dream in his head. He walked calmly through the terminal. He wasn't rushing. He wasn't nervous. To everyone around him, he's just another traveler leaving town. But to the agents watching from the corner, he was the end of the 3-year hunt. At the TSA checkpoint, he slips off his belt, his watch, his wallet. Everything slides into the gray plastic tray. He passed the security check clean. Then, movement. He doesn't fight, doesn't speak, just nods. Inside his bag, they find it. $250,000 in cash. Tucked in the corner, a small USB drive. Encrypted, loaded with secrets. A crypto wallet. This was the end of his one-way flight, and the beginning of a much bigger story. Later, in interrogation room, Joel finally talks. He gives them the password, the final piece of his empire. Right there, is taking from him. The agents unlock the USB, but what it reveals is only a fragment, a few scattered transactions, a handful of digital traces. The rest, the real money, over $7.5 million, is gone. Joel was the kind of person teachers remembered. Valedictorian, full scholarship, tech-savvy, a future lined up in front of him. Everything pointed towards success. So why throw it all away for cybercrime? To understand that, you have to see where he came from. Money was always pressure. He lived in a modest part of Boston, just blocks away from Harvard. Close enough to see wealth, but never close enough to have it. That contrast stuck with him. Every day he passed what he didn't have. Cars, clothes, good life. Money wasn't just something he wanted. It was the thing that reminded him of what he didn't have. Joel was smart, no question, but patience wasn't his strength. He didn't want a slow climb to success story. He didn't want to be another name on a resume. He wanted recognition. Online, he found it. The rush of attention, the thrill of being someone. But digital clout means nothing until you can show it. So Joel bought proof. Designer clothes, first-class flights, champagne nights. Every dollar was a proof, a way to say, I made it. He wasn't the poor kid from Boston anymore. Today is court day for Joel. He sits quietly at the defendant's table. No laptop, no hoodie, just a green suit and a worried face. a face that prosecutors don't give a fuck about. For them, this wasn't just a trial, it was a statement, a message to an entire online underworld watching closely. Then, Joel's attorney stood up. He laughed. He called it funny money. Said crypto wasn't real, that no one lost anything, just numbers on a screen. But he was wrong. This is Mike. He sits on the left side of the courtroom, a quiet man in his 50s. Just days ago, he had over $1 million sitting in his crypto wallet, money he'd saved for retirement. The next day, Joel drained half of it, a lifetime of work saved in digital form, all gone overnight. And to the right, that's Spencer. He's younger, early 40s, another victim. His story's the same, but this time it's personal. His wallet held savings for his daughter's college, years of work, all taken. So when the attorney laughed, no one else did. Not Mike, not Spencer, not the judge. For them, this wasn't funny money. It was their life savings, erased in minutes. The evidence against Joel was overwhelming. He faced 28 felony charges. The case was airtight. He had no options left. He took the plea deal. In April 2019, Joel Ortiz was sentenced to 10 years in prison. It was the first major SIM swapping conviction in America. The hunt for Joel Ortiz, or rather SIM swapper, is finally over. But for the REACT team, this is just the beginning.
The REACT task force tells us they have many more investigations in progress, including suspects targeted living abroad.
REACT used Joel's cooperation to hunt others. Every login, every message, every transfer led to another name. This is Connor Freeman. He lives in Ireland. He and Joel were good friends. They met on OG Users. Connor saw the news. Joel had been caught. He knew he could be next, so he slowed down, minimized his online activity, tried not to draw attention to himself. But Connor wasn't innocent. He hijacked accounts. He stole several million in crypto. REACT traced his footsteps. They passed the trail to the Irish police. Today, his home has just been raided. He was arrested and handed over to REACT. Later, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. The blockchain doesn't lie, but it doesn't help recover the money either. Most victims never saw a single dollar again. One of them, though, got lucky. This is Darren, the man from the start of the story. This is him today, just relaxing. Life has moved on, at least on the surface. Then his phone rings. It's not his wife this time. It's a call from unknown number. He hesitates, then answers.
Hello. Hi, Mr. Darren. This is the High Court of Ireland. We've just arrested the people who stole your money. A wire transfer of $90,000 will be sent to you soon.
He smiles. It's not everything he lost, but it's something. A small piece of justice, finally finding its way back. That call came a week after Connor was arrested. When investigators stripped his wallets, they found over $2 million in stolen crypto, a portion of it traced back to Darren. This is Joel, in his cell. Today, he sits across from a media team for an interview. He admits he regrets it. He says prison changed him. He says he was manipulated, that others were running the show. He looks down when he says it. Quiet, honest maybe. Maybe that's true, maybe not. But it doesn't erase what he did. He hijacked accounts, and then he stole the money.
I sent the hacker this. I can't win. Why do you do this to me? To which he replied, send coins. I broke down in the angriest tears I can remember ever having and felt as though I could never touch the internet again. You could teach a class in prison with the talents that you have, and I hope you do. The world needs your talents, whether you believe that or not. Find your soul in this time, and God bless you in your new journey. Sincerely, your nameless, faceless victim, Jeremiah Nickel.
Until next time, this is Legenemy.